So my kids and we have this big conversation about wants versus needs. You want to be a footballer. I needed to be a footballer. There needs to be a clear line between what I say versus what our coach says. If you're the coach on the side and you're saying, well done, well done, well done, well done, and I'm at the other side going, oi, that's rubbish. Now as a kid, you're going, for men, it's 0.001% in this country will play a game in the Premier League. If you can get your kids to be in a place where competing is good, that it's healthy, and they're putting their best into it, you're making a better child for the world, for life, for whatever they want to do. Why the the kids need an Instagram page? It's not for anyone else's benefit than the parent. And I say this to my daughter all the time, there's no point you watching Mbappe if you want to be a defender. I used to love watching people that were slow because I was never rapid.
How much do you think you making it as a footballer was down to your genetics?
None. You see me now, I'm a little fat kid.
Well, I think there's a trend of young coaches almost becoming Instagram coaches.
Oh, how many do you see online now trying to break down tactical stuff? If we did it against mannequins, I'd look like Pep Guardiola. Just because I played in the Prem doesn't mean I know more than you. Just I've been exposed to more experiences than you.
Do you think that the academy route didn't help your little brother?
What do you think was the biggest positive versus the biggest negative? And by the way, you're on a podcast, so don't swear, please.
Troy, of your children who play football,
Yep.
how many of them can make it pro?
Ooh. One so far. My kids are. My oldest boy's 15. He's good at football, but it's not his passion. His main passion is cooking. So he wants to be a chef like that. So he knows that's what he wants to do. But he is good at football.
Yeah.
And he likes it. But the joy that you see, and as a parent, you look at your kids a little bit differently. And I think when I look at my kids, you're trying to look at what's their skill set and push them towards it. I found in my lived experience, I'm one of four boys, right? So I'm the oldest. My oldest, youngest brother is Ellis. He was at Aston Villa all the way through. And he won't mind me saying this because we've spoken about it, but he's so talented that we kind of let him do what he wanted to do. Because if he wanted to come in here and do a podcast, he knew how to build a studio by the end of the day. He's just one of them kids. He picks it up, he's good. Me, on the other hand, I just love football. So I did football and tried to stay out of trouble. They were the two things that I could only ever do. With my oldest son, when we go out for food, he clocks the menu, like, bang. Dad, do you see the specials? We haven't even got the table yet. Like, Dad, did you see the specials? Oh, I'm going to have that today. When he plays football, he's like, I got training tonight. And just that instant little bit of the way that he does it, I'm like, there's your passion, is the cooking. Because he loves it and wants to, and he's checking out, right, who did that? And he just took himself on work experience. Like I say, he's only just turned 15. All summer he worked in a cafe because he wanted to get the experience and the buzz. And I remember we went to a cafe after I went and got a haircut. And I was like, I'd get something to eat and that. And he's like, we ain't eating in here. I was like, it's a calf, mate. What do you mean? It's fine. He's like, no. Look how they're stacking the eggs behind there, and they were breaking the eggs and putting the shells, the used shells, back in with the unused ones. And he's like, that's health and safety. You can't do that. And you know what I mean? Just that attention to detail.
Like, I don't want a bacon sandwich.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, you can tell you're going to private school. It's different. I was like, sweet.
Was there anything in his upbringing or anything that you think maybe didn't help him develop a passion for football? No,
like I say, he's got a passion. It's just that the cooking is just something that just pulls at his heart. He's the only one that saw me go, like, live through me going to jail. Do you know what I mean? Like, so he maybe is an element of that where he saw me be an arsehole. There's no other way. Like, I really messed it up, and he's the only one who saw me at as captain in the Prem and all the things I was getting up to and the trouble, and it was my life was very dysfunctional. Okay. So maybe we've never had this conversation, but maybe there was a look at that. Like, I don't really want all of that comes with it, because when you live it, like the nice cars and the money is not all it's cracked up to be. If me and his mum are arguing every 24 hours, you get what I mean? Or I'm not coming home every 2 days and things like that. So maybe it was that. But with my daughter, my oldest daughter, Eyes, who's like, she's a beast, man. She's just got something in her head that's like, I want that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have it.
Okay.
And there's nothing I can say, you can say that's going to change it. She's just going to get it.
Is she the one who's playing for Leicester?
Yeah, she plays for Leicester now. She's been in at City, Chelsea, Villa and Blues.
And she's 10, yeah?
She's 10, but she started playing football of her own accord 2 years ago.
So any idea why she's got that mentality?
Probably, like, because she's I don't call them step kids. She's my wife's daughter, innit? But I've been in her life since she was 3, so she's mine, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So I don't do the step thing. She lives with me. She calls me dad. She's my daughter. I look after her. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. I think maybe it's her trying to find her thing with me. Do you get what I mean? Like, dad's into football, I like football. But she used to do gymnastics and she's great at that. She does netball for school and county won her, and she does sprinting and now the local team. Like, whatever she does, she's just really good at. But she knows football's our thing and she wants it. And so she did when the Lionesses won, she watched it. And then, like most young girls, I imagine, was like, I want to be a footballer. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I said, if you play football in the back garden for 2 weeks every day after school, I'll start helping you. That was 2 years ago. She's not stopped. And she just loves it. Absolutely loves it. She can tell you what she's going to do.
Yeah.
She said, I'm going to play for Arsenal and play for England. Like, now. And it's not like a wild fantasy. It's like, this is going to happen.
What's been your experience seeing the girls' game so far?
I think, Joe, obviously it's evolving. And I think what I love about it is technically the girls are a lot better than people give them credit for. Tactically, they stick to the game plan. Where in men's football, you go a goal behind and it's all frantic and people start launching long ball. If you watch WSL, if you watch Championship, any of these games, the girls are playing out, they're sticking to the principles and they're going to do it, which I think for the girls will always give them an opportunity to progress and move better on. And also everything's new, so everyone's open to conversation and everyone's open to learning. And I find that the coaches are great with the kids, but they also set standards, which in the girls' game, again, I've only been involved in it for 2 years, so I apologise if I offend anybody, but I don't believe that was there before. And more clubs now are seeing the value in the girls' game, so it's getting more professional, it's getting more investment. So the young girls now are obviously getting better.
So with her now saying she wants to go on to be a pro,
yeah,
are you starting to plan for that? Are you thinking?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Be a pro. Let's start. We're going to think about this.
Yeah, we're tough parents. Me and my wife Alicia, we're tough parents. I wouldn't say we are. Some would say we're really strict. Some would say we're boring. But we are adamant that there's certain things that kids don't need to have, i.e., iPads and things of that nature. Don't get me wrong. They'll have a limited amount of time on it at the weekends, but she don't watch. She don't sit and watch nonsense on telly. She doesn't sit on an iPad all day, and she doesn't play PlayStation or any of those things. So don't get me wrong, there's a few challenging times now where she's in year 6 now. So a lot of her friends have got a phone, a lot of her friends have got iPads. She's like, why can't I have one? And we've just had that difficult conversation. Like, we don't believe you need that just yet. Who are you going to phone? You get taken to school, you get picked up from school. You don't go anywhere else. Like having the phone and things of that nature, we keep off it. We train differently. I'm training to make the best athlete. It's the coach is Matt, who's the coach at Leicester. It's his job to make her a better footballer.
Yeah.
My job's to make her the best athlete.
In terms of that style of parenting, which you said there is maybe an emphasis on strictness, do you think that your upbringing and your start in life that you've been very open about, do you think that's had an effect on how you're parenting?
Yeah, like, listen, I'm never going to be a guy that sits here and says I'll get it right. I mess up as a parent more than most. Trust me, I'm away working. I don't see them a lot, and when I'm back, it's like always. I can't detract from what my kids said they want to do versus being loving dad. You said you want to do that, right? Let's work towards it. I still kind of think like a player, really. You said you were going to deliver that, so let's go and deliver it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As opposed to a parent, and you're gonna make mistakes. Cool, we'll address the mistakes, but you said we're going to do that, so we're going to finish it. My upbringing, I suppose. Do you know what? A little bit, just so to go back, and I will carry on with your question. I think I just see so much, no other word, bullshit now outside, like kids getting stabbed all the time, loads of kids getting pregnant. You know, I'm 36, and there's people younger than me that I know that are grandparents. That's fucking scary. Do you know what I mean? People, and let's say the evolution of being a parent is you're going to keep continuously making mistakes. But I think what we all do to try and contain those mistakes, we go, let's put our kids in a world that we know and keep it safe and condense it. But they've got, well, not mine, but a lot of kids have got phones now, haven't they? They've got the internet. So they're growing up and maturing more than they should probably at the age level. Where I look at my kids and go, well, be a kid in the mess about, play with your Barbies, you know, the normal stuff. But in the athlete side of it, we can't not acknowledge that everyone's trying to be a pro. So my kids and we have this big conversation about wants versus needs. You want to be a footballer. I needed to be a footballer because I changed my whole family's life. There's a lot of kids now, and you've come across it where the parents want it more than the kids. So we have a conversation about wants versus needs. Do you want to do it? Yes. What do you need to do to make that happen? Do those two marry? Are you willing to put the hard work in? Are you willing to... My daughter goes in the gym with me. Are you willing to do that? Because I'm not going to taste you every single day. Right, today's gym day or tomorrow's gym day. If you want to do it, you set it out. We have a piece of paper, write it down. And if we ever fall back, we go back to this piece of paper and go, well, you said this and you said that. So why are we not doing it because you made the rules?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's accountability from a young age on what you said. Going back to me, this life was never for me. This was all for my kid brother. Like he's what is he? Ellis is 33 now, so he's 3 years younger than me, and he's just, like I say, so talented. But from when he could walk, he was just better at football than me, just instantly better. Technically a lefty, played left-footed, so it always looks better. Strong, wasn't very tall, but was quick, muscular, defended well, had a nice curl. And like I say, he's at Aston Villa from 6 to the age of 20, 21. And then obviously Dad passed away, and he knocked it on the head.
Was that the reason? Because I was going to ask you why he didn't make it. Obviously, he had all the academy upbringing.
Mm-hmm. The difference between the two of us, and again, like we've spoken now, me and my brother are really, really close now, like ridiculously close over the last year. We went through a spell where we always loved each other, but we kind of went that way because my life took me that way, his life took him that way. But we've reconnected now, and it's sick, man. I love him to death. But I always say to him, like with him, he was so good at everything that every door was open.
Do you think it's too easy for him?
Possibly, but he always had an out. I didn't have an out. I had like, you give me a crack at that door and I'll push it open. Do you know what I mean? I'll run through it. I'll get through it and I'll make loads of mistakes and I'll figure it out along the way. And that's basically my career. Like, so, but when I used to go and watch Ellis, so we used to take him Tuesday, Thursday, he'd play on a Sunday. But he used to be at Aston Villa. If you ever go to the Aston Villa ground, it's outside. They've just redone the set. There's an outside bit where they used to train in the winter there. So I used to go watch the start of the warm-up, what they were doing. I'd take a ball with me and I'd go back out in the car park and I'd just practice. I wasn't practicing for me to get better. I was practicing so that when we went home, I could help him do what he was doing. Yeah. So that was
your thought process.
That was my thought process, yeah. Because he was our way out.
But why didn't you think you could be a pro footballer?
Because I didn't see anyone that could. No one from my area is a pro footballer. No one from my area is like successful at anything, pardon the language, but anything legal.
Right.
So,
but your brother was doing it.
Exactly.
Why was he not inspiring that you could do it?
Nah, because I'm his big brother.
Oh, you're his big brother.
I'm his big brother. Yeah.
You're older.
Yeah, I'm 3 years older than him.
Got you.
So my job was he's not going to get caught up in these distractions.
Got you.
He's going to make it better. And we're all going to pour into him. So he played for Aston Villa. My granddad, God bless him, obviously passed away now, but he was like the biggest Villa fan. So when my brother was at Villa, everyone's like Ellis.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I probably battled with that for a long time, where like, I'm helping him, but I'm like, fucking hell, no. What about me? And I played Sunday. Our Sunday league team was a joke. Like, we didn't lose for 4 years. We were a joke. Any tournament we went to, we won everything. And 5 of the lads went on to have pro careers as well in mine. So it's like, well, anytime I scored a hat trick, it was like, yeah, it didn't matter because I just did it against, I'm trying to think, Continental Stars, a team in Birmingham. Whereas my brother would play Man United the weekend, or he'd play Birmingham. But do you know what I mean? It was always that gravitas of who he played against. So I always felt lesser than, not in a bad way, just he's at Villa, innit?
I've experienced that a lot with quite a lot of families where one of the, let's say there's 2 brothers and they're close in age. One is at the pro club, and then the other one maybe hasn't got signed.
Yeah.
And then the dynamic that happens between the 2 brothers, there can sometimes be some like jealousy or
there was sorry to interrupt. In my case, there was never any jealousy.
No,
never. It was just, this is the way things are. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to be good at football. I'll probably play locally with my pals and I'll be all right.
Yeah.
But I think my aspiration wasn't at the same level of Ellis's. Ellis could see like whatever he wanted to do, he could be like world class at it.
Fair enough.
I saw my level would be like locally good. So all I ever wanted to do was play in a local team. As long as I was picked and everyone at my school knew I played for the school team, or anyone in my area knew I played for the best team, that was it for me. That was where my mind was at. If I could play in that team, then I've cracked it.
And with your dad who got you into football, like, what sort of practice was he doing with you? Like, how old were you when you started playing?
I literally, my daughter asked me this question the other day, like, when did you start playing, Dad? I don't remember a time I never had a football. I don't remember another sport. I don't remember cricket or anything. Always football. I'm going to show my age a little bit. How old are you guys, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 39.
Come on, man.
He's 40.
40, are you the big 4-0? Congrats, man. You look younger than me. Don't worry about it. So you guys remember this. So we had the Pele tape recorder, or what's it called? A VHS. Yeah, so my dad bought this Pele video, and we lived in a flat. So we had this really long, narrow corridor. You couldn't fit, like, me and you couldn't walk side by side. We'd have to, like go on that way to slide past. It was tight. But he gave us a tennis ball, because we weren't allowed to play football in the house, but we could have a tennis ball. And we used to watch these drills. And he was doing like the 7, so obviously keep it up. And then any drill, and everything he did in this drill, my dad was like, if you could do that with a tennis ball, you could do it with football. I think that was our excuse for being broke, like, but we just basically was like, if you do it with a tennis ball, we could do it with football. And that's all we did after school, because he tried to keep us in the house as much as possible. Yeah. So it was do that, go out, do that, and then over the weekend, he'd get us outside and we could play with the other kids over the weekend. And again, one thing he always did, probably ahead of his time now, we always played with older kids, always. So when I first started at 3Cs, I was 6 playing in the under-9s. And it was not like, oh, he's a kid, leave him. It was like, whack him. And I remember being like 7, 8 and playing with teenagers. And he was like, if he cries, hit him again. And then I had this whole thing then of I'll never cry, because my dad doesn't like people crying. Do you get what I mean? Bit old school. Like now, obviously, it's a bit different, but that was just...
I had my friendship group of my estate were 3-4 years older than me. And we had a saying. It was like, because I was always the youngest and the smallest, and they'd whack me.
Yeah.
I'd cry. I'm 6, 7, and they're like 9, 10. And there was like I say, you've got to take the pain. You've got to take the pain. You can't cry. You've got to take the pain. But it was because if my mum saw me crying, then
they're getting
in trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's just like if somebody whacked somebody, you weren't allowed to cry. You had to take the pain. Yeah. Because if the parents saw somebody crying, they're going to come down. And
absolutely, yeah. And then the game ends, and no one wants the game to end. And I think we used to do this, like, just try to stay out as late as possible. So, like, if we could play football from 8 in the morning till 8 at night till it got dark, we'd be outside. And I think, again, you lot know this better than me now, scouting and things like that. We had imagination as kids. I don't think kids have imagination now. There's so many robots, and like they watch Man City, Arsenal, whoever, and they play this way and they do it all this way. Like we used to have to make goals up. Remember, you had like the jumpers for goalposts, and then like you made up the height of where the crossbar was, depending on how tall the goalie was or not. And then, you know what I mean? Like I used to say to my daughter, like, I used to draw football kits, make my own football kits because we couldn't afford it. So it was like, right, let's try and draw this. And I think our imagination and our way of understanding not football but life made us into what I would consider better players.
But with I'm really sorry.
No, don't be
I
daft.
need to bring it back to
Because
something sticking with me that you said. You're doing more athletic training with your daughter. And you're letting a football coach take care of the football.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of what's making you think that? Why aren't you doing more football?
Because when I say more, I am still doing some football, but there needs to be a clear line between what I say and versus what our coach says. Because the coach is who's going to make the decision at the end of the day. I can have an opinion as a dad and as someone that's done okay in football, but I can't be, if you're the coach on the side, and as you know, when you go to these things, like, you can't even talk anyway. But if you're the coach on the side and you're saying, well done, well done, well done, well done, and I'm at the other side going, oi, that's rubbish. Now, as a kid, you're going, well, I've got to listen to my dad as opposed to this. So anything we ever talk about football-wise is never, how was you passing or how was you technically? It was like, what's your intensity? Did you go into every, not tackle, but every situation, did you go with a mindset of, I'm going to win? So whether it's a 50-50, whether it's pay the pass, I'm going to make sure that my pass gets there quicker than the person who passed it to me. Those kind of things. And then from a physical point of view, she's tall and she's already rangy. So if you just look at where the women's game is at the moment, so many ACLs, so many different pieces of injuries that continue, and naturally the evolution of women at the moment is childbearing hips. So I've spoken to loads of professionals. I'm lucky I get access to everyone I've worked with over 17-year career. So I can still speak to physios, doctors. What do you think? And I won't say his name because he might get him in trouble, but there's someone I know who works with the top females in this country. And he said the biggest problem he finds is they're undertrained. Strength-wise. So that's where a lot of the injuries come. So when he's rehabilitating people, it's like, well, this base level's so low. I have to bring it up. So we have loads of conversations around that and how do we do prevention as opposed to cure.
I'm just going to interrupt the podcast for 30 seconds to tell you about We Make Footballers. We Make Footballers are the largest football coaching provider to children aged 4 to 12 in the UK, operating across 200 facilities. We focus on developing the individual, working on the technical and physical components of the game, and it's had amazing results, with hundreds of our ex-players joining professional academies and 4 of our ex-players currently playing in the Premier League. Our program is built around small-sided play using indoor and outdoor facilities. Visit our website, WeMakeFootballers.com, to see if we have a training facility in your area. Just bringing it back to the training that your dad was doing, do you think he learned things from training you that then he applied with your younger brother?
Nah, I think we just did. I'm not going to sit, like, my dad was not always home, shall we say. There was large periods of time where he was gone.
Right.
But what he did do was, whenever he was around, it was about how much impact could he have. So when we got older, for example, and him and my mum split and he'd come around for the weekend, it'd be like, how much do we pack in to this, I don't know, 4 hours I get with the kids? I want to make sure that they understand value. So how everyone now says, don't play for the name on the back, play for the badge on the front. Well, we was told as kids, like, your surname is everything. So I don't represent Troy. I represent anyone that's got a Deeney name. So if I'm an arsehole, everyone thinks, oh, I heard that name, Deeney, he's an arsehole. But it's not just me, that's my brothers, that's my sister, that's my mum. So we was always told, like, respect and manners from an early age. So what my dad tried to do was just be so drilled. And it was really weird because everything he said, he was a walking freaking hypocrite. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was more like do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
So, but my dad was good at football as well, and he was rapid. He was so quick. But he just, I shouldn't really say it's a child for him, but he just loved to tear up. So he'd play, score 2 or 3 goals in a Sunday league, get bored and punch someone, and you're just like, all right. Do you know what I mean? And we saw all this as kids, so that's why, like, aggression and meeting aggression with aggression has never ever intimidated me, because that's what I've seen as a kid. You know what I mean?
You made me think of something when you were talking about your daughter and you said the term she's rangy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you starting to think about the long-term playing position that she will have?
She's a defender.
She's definitely going to be a defender.
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
She hates everything else but defending.
Really?
So you put her in a left winger position and she naturally just starts creeping back. She's like, you got to stay higher up. She's like, yeah, but I like there. So if you said, this is what I mean, she's so like headstrong that she's like, I'm like, oh, go up front, it's where the money is. Like, let's be totally honest, I'm a striker. Like, score goals. It doesn't matter if you miss. As long as you score one, everyone's going to say you had a good game.
Yeah.
Goes up front, hates it. She loves being a defender to the point that she was at a team 2 years ago, Lillington, and they were winning every week.
Yeah.
But she was buzzing that they were getting clean sheets.
Love that.
But like proper, like, you know, like, again, I've played with some really good defenders. The best ones hated letting goals in training.
Yeah.
And I see that in her already. Obviously, I'm not giving her too much in the way of like, not criticism, congratulations, because I think you'll get comfortable. I want to, and I've said this to her when we had a conversation the other day, it's like, I want you to be so like headstrong now that when you get to where you want to get to, because the women's game is only going to get better, stronger, more eyes, whatever. I want it that whenever you play for the one person or a million people, you're going to be like, yeah, but none of them have been as critical as my dad.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And it might end up, our relationship might differ as she gets older or whatever, but once it's all done, it'll make sense. Kind of like the Serena Venus stuff. Do you know what I mean? They would have looked at their dad and gone, he's mad. Tiger Woods with his... Now, don't get me wrong, I'm talking about three unbelievable athletes, but I just look at it and go, if you get what you want at the end of it, it was worth it.
Are you thinking with her, again, we talk about profile, will she have the height, do you think, to play as a centre defender, or do you think she may have to go as a fullback?
No, she's got the height already. So she's 5'4" already, and she's 10.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so she's got the height, but she's got the pace to play as a fullback, and she's got the desire. Like she just learned how to slide tackle. So we did it in the summer. We was working on slide tackling.
Yeah,
and she's got that. That's her thing now. So if she wins a slide tackle, she's buzzing, and she plays. So she plays for Leicester 3 times a week, and then she plays for a boys team under 12. So she plays a year above and with the boys. So she's got the physical now. So it's all coming together slowly but surely.
And with the conversations that you're having with her...
Oh, by the way, they're harsh conversations. This ain't like nicey. If you do something good, I'm going to tell you good. If you're bad, I'm going to tell you you're bad.
Do you have quite a distinctive father-daughter, Troy Deeney football player-daughter relationship? Do you know what I mean? Like, talking about football, she knows she's coming from Troy, the football player.
But you know what? Kids are funny, mate. They don't care that I played football. They don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not... I don't know who could walk in. When I was at Forest Green, right, for that small period I was at Forest Green playing, it was funny, right, because you'd be playing, and obviously, without being disrespectful to those lads, I know what I've done in my career, and I know what they've done in their career. They would buzz off it, seeing the other kids. So when I was at Blues, they would see the other, like they'd see Bakuna or Job, and that was like they'd met God, and I was just dad. They don't care if I play football or not, but what we will have a clear distinction on, or what I try and do is, I'll tell you something, I know it's gone in, but then if like we're watching Monday Night Football or something and they say a similar thing, I'm like, pause it, record it. Right, when she gets up tomorrow, I'll explain what I'm saying, get Gary Neville to say, or whoever's on the telly. Do you get what I mean? So she hears it twice, so she hears me saying it, but now there's probably an affirmation that somebody on who she respects or sees it on the TV saying exactly what your dad said.
Does she watch much football?
Loves it, yeah. That's all she watches, yeah. All she watches, mate, yeah.
Just to, so we can give parents some real, like, tangible to take away,
of course.
I'm interested to get into the detail of the types of conversations that you have with your daughter from a tactical and technical side of things.
So from a tactical point of view, she's playing, what are they playing now? Is it 9-a-side? They've just got into offsides, so what's that? 9-a-sides? Yeah, 9-a-side. So we're learning the offside rule currently. Out of the halfway line's your friend. So trying to get her to be as high as possible. And again, because she's got pace, that halfway line is her friend. So if she gets right on that halfway line, that means now there's a foot race between halfway line and where these people are going to shoot from, wherever that is, and back your abilities to get there. Tackling with the right foot, not your right foot, the right foot. Most kids you'll see will put their strong foot forward all the time, even if it means, how do you describe this without showing people?
It's like they go with the outside of their foot
yeah. So the ball's coming on to my daughter's right hand side. She'll lean across with her left leg to try and kick it, as opposed to moving your feet and kicking it with your right foot. It happens with strikers as well. You see they'll always try and score with their predominantly strong foot, as opposed to missing with that. And then from a tactical point of view, I always try to encourage the Sunday league to put her on the opposite side. So instead of her playing on the left of the back four or the two or however they do it, play her on the right hand side. So she has to use her right foot. So she takes it on the back foot and plays out to that one. And then we're just talking now from a tactical point of view of the four passes. So keeper's got the ball from a kick-off, from a goal kick, sorry. She has to obviously she goes deeper, so towards the byline, and then body shape. So once you get the ball on the back foot, so for people that don't know, that's if it's being passed, you let it run across your body and take it onto your left foot. Then I want her to have, first thought is, where's my fullback? Can I play fullback? If I can't play the fullback, can I play the six? If I can't play the six, do I go back to my goalie? Or if all of those options are exasperated, I hit the big diag. And the diag is that massive one over the top to the other people. I think so many people now hit the channel ball that every defender started to come across. So because she's a lefty, she can ping it across. So there are 4 bits of info that we're talking about now from a tactical point of view.
Do you get to look at the videos? Do they give huddle?
Yeah, they do it. I'm not big on it. I like to be there as much as I can. So I don't tend to work on a Sunday.
But these conversations, you can recreate the moment through conversation. She remembers it. She understands what you're saying.
And she's we've just had to go through the back end of last year of when I'm telling her something to not turn and look at me while the game's going on. It's to just give me a thumbs up that you can hear me, because it'll be like, I'll say something like, Eyes, he's on your left side, or she's on your left side, or it might be, make sure that tackle's right. And I don't want her to, like, because in one of the games she looked back at me and she went, oh, the person went through. Thankfully she managed to get back, but it was like a split second where obviously we know the higher the level goes, that'll probably be a goal. So now she just gives me the thumbs up and she knows what I'm saying. And then sometimes, and I do challenge a lot of parents to do this, my daughter wants to impress me a lot. So if we talk about breaking the pressure, let's say, you need to break the pressure. I go, do you know what I'm on about? She goes, yeah, I'm not on about. And then I start talking and I can see her, she ain't got a clue what I'm talking about. So I go, look, if you don't understand, it's fine. Just tell me and I'll break it down as to what I mean by breaking the pressure. Oh, okay, Dad, I don't understand. And then we have another conversation. Do you know what I mean? So we might have to, in that moment, just talk about breaking the pressure, leave it alone, go and train, and then talk about what we want to do the next day. As opposed to, I think what I see from a lot of parents is they load so much info on these kids, and the kids are just like, yeah. And they're not taking any information.
And chances are the parents don't have your knowledge of football either. So I think we often encourage through the podcast is parents to be as self-aware as possible.
Absolutely.
Because what you're giving is great information, that's perfect. But another parent who's got no background in football, they're just trying to learn it just off watching TV and listen to the pundits for 3 minutes
and hear the same things.
And and then maybe, I mean, you mentioned earlier you've got a great relationship with a coach. Yeah. So I'm assuming like the information you're giving is cohesive with what they want.
Yeah, I'll always ask what they're doing.
Really?
And what's the training module for this upcoming 6 week, 7 week, 8 week block.
And
just try and keep it on, because I'm only helping them.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, I don't know, they're working on attacking and I'm working on defending.
Yeah.
Well, now none of us are going to gain out of it. So just ask the question. Like, and when I'm at the football, I don't speak, I stay out the way.
Nice, okay.
I'll watch on my own as well. I'm like that weird parent who just goes and stands in the corner on his own.
You need to be able to concentrate. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm only watching her, and I had this conversation with somebody a couple of weeks ago when I was at the football. I don't understand how parents, especially at any age, why are you watching and you want the kid to win and you're not celebrating the other people? So, for example, my daughter's played in a few games where they're smashing the other team. And it's like the keeper might make a save, and it's like, let's say it's 4-0 down. I'm there like, well done, keeper. Excellent, keep going, you know. And also, like, if my daughter's quite strong, so if she makes a tackle, a strong tackle, and someone's down, I'm like, check they're okay. But other parents, mate, like, there's been a couple of occasions where I've not been there, and I'm glad I've not been there, but there's been, like, parents face-to-face arguing, and you're like, I'm glad I'm not there, because I'll tell you both about yourself, but if you say something about my daughter, now we've got to go around the corner and have a different adult conversation. But it's like, you're watching kids' football. Even if your kid doesn't make it as a pro, it doesn't, because the percentage, I know for men, because I work with the Premier League, I know for men it's 0.001% in this country will play a game in the Premier League. 0.0000001% will have a career in the Prem in this league. So it's so difficult to do it. But if you, like any discipline, boxing, dancing, whatever it is, if you can get your kids to be in a place where competing is good and it's healthy, and they're putting their best into it, you're making a better child for the world, for life, for whatever they want to do. Do you get what I mean? I think now everyone's like so obsessed with the money or again, sorry, I'm going to go on a little rant here. Why the fuck do kids need an Instagram page?
You're going to ask this, weren't you?
Yeah.
Why?
I was going to throw that at you. What are your thoughts on it?
Why do they need it? It's not for anyone else's benefit than the parent.
I think, let's say you're an under 12.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Once you're like 16 going into pros, even then I still think you don't really need it. But if you're like 15 and down, what do you need the Instagram page for?
I think it does start to get a foundation. So when they get to 16, there's something there.
Why?
They're getting Nike deals, like some of the Nike deals.
But this is my point.
Okay.
So it's nothing to do with football then, is it? It's a monetary gain to make a brand.
But let's say you get 18 grand off a Nike deal.
Cool. But you're going to make that. So at 16, if I give you 18 grand, what's going to happen?
No, but there's 11-year-olds, there's 10-year-olds getting that money.
Even worse, in my opinion. And again, there's going to be parents listening to this going, fucking hell, but you earn a certain level. I understand that. But let me just break it down to you. The most parents for kids in this sport that we love, football, is from low income housing, right? So if these kids are getting a night deal at 18 grand at 11, 10, whatever it might be, that is more money than most households are bringing in additional money to people working, right? What does that money do? Does it sit in an account for the kids, does it? And it invests and it learns and does that?
Potentially.
Potentially. But let's be realistic, it probably doesn't. Because what it does now, it changes the dynamic.
I don't know, I think some of the parents are pretty switched on.
How can you be switched on? Do you work in sports? Do you work in sports media? Do you work in a place where you understand what this brand is now? And if I do this, I get that. And then from that'll generate that you're going to be... So, perfect example, Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
Joe Bellingham. How much Instagrams did they have as kids?
I don't know.
None.
Did they not?
Because parents went, it's about the football.
Yeah.
The best bit of advice I ever got was from Gianfranco Zola. Do well, you get paid.
Yeah.
Everyone that, like, you go any Sunday league team, every kid from the age of 8, probably less, up to 16 has got an Instagram. It's run by the parents.
There's some really cringe ones.
It doesn't add value to what they're doing. And now you're making them go, to be successful is about what Instagram says. But when you get into, again, sound like a blow smoke, I played at the Premier League, done okay. When you're in the Prem, if you read comments, you're in trouble. Because when I score a win against Chelsea or Arsenal or whoever, do you think all the comments on there are like, oh, well done you? Or do you think there's a whole other team that's going, you're this, you lucky that, blah, blah, blah. Or even go one bit better, you miss a penalty. Because I've missed a few. Missed a pen that could have won us the game. Do you think your own fan base is going, oh my God, unlucky, mate. Well done. No, you get hammered.
Playing devil's advocate.
Of course.
So let's say that you're a player who has been shielded from any social media, hasn't got any understanding of it, and then you're thrown into that world at 17, let's say, and then you make your debut, and then suddenly then there needs to be an Instagram.
Yeah, do you need to run it?
But like
if there's a need to have it, there's a monetary value coming from it.
So the player just forever just shields themselves from any social media.
How many players now in the Prem only live on their Instagram? Because 95% of them will have an Instagram that we see,
Yeah.
and a private one. And the Instagram we see is when they lose, go again next week, the fans are excellent. When they win, great performance, well done for the lads. And then it's a few pictures of family, and it's an odd picture of boots and deals.
So the players are not using it. Like you're saying that they're not reading comments.
They try and stay away from it. Okay. It's a distraction. They'll use it because it's a necessary evil for brand deals. My point is, when we're talking specifically for kids, it doesn't add any value to this kid getting better as a football player.
So do you think it's detrimental?
I do, yeah, because it's only for the parent. Because there's not one of us here that can say, if your kid at 11 years old gets a new pair of Nike football boots, does that make them better at football? No. Does them getting a lifestyle, I don't know how it all works, but I don't know, let's say they're getting a modelling contract off it. Does that add value to them being a better football player? No. Does it give you another outlet and financially different and you could go to different avenues? Of course it does. But if you're talking specifically to make your child the best version of them as a football player, what does social media add value to?
Yeah.
Given what you were saying about wants and needs,
Yeah.
if there's a family and a young player who are leaning towards needing the
financial gain.
Yeah.
Completely different conversation. Because now you have to do that need, but you also have to have a conversation. That need of, let's say, if you said 11,000, 10,000, well, let's say 10,000 round number. 10,000 Nike or Adidas give you this, or Puma, whoever you go with. They give you this money. That adds, takes a burden off at home. Because my mum worked 3 jobs, so now she can work 2 if we got 10. I may, and this is a conversation, but I may now as a kid lose a bit of desire because my mum's around more. The reason I'm working, in my case, solely my case, and I talk from lived experiences, I'm grafting so much that I don't want my family to ever struggle again. That was my why. I never owned a pair of football boots until I was 19. Fresh football boots. 19. If you go back on pictures at Warsaw, when I was playing, I'm playing in my mate's football boots that says Shaz down the side. My name's not Shaz. Do you know what I mean? My why, this is just for me, was to change all of our lives. And by the way, I get to play football for a living. I used to be a builder. Do you know what I mean? I could go to work and it's 5-6 hours and I get to kick a ball around and I'm fit and I get home at 2. This is sweet. So what my point to socials, and listen, it's always nuance in it because, as you said, if your parents are struggling or you're struggling and this could change things, then absolutely. But then that goes into your needs as opposed to a want. A lot of these people now, the parents want a social media page to live their life through the kid, in my opinion, I would say.
It's really interesting there, you connecting some of the mentality that you had as a player to the hardships that you had
Absolutely.
in life in your start. What about your children now? Because you mentioned earlier,
they're spoiled, man.
Right, okay.
They're spoiled. They'll tell you they're spoiled.
Right. So how will you help them have the best mentality possible without the same struggles that you had?
Goes back to needs and wants. So you're playing up, let's say, to eyes a lot, you're playing up against someone that needs this. No, sorry. You're going up against someone that absolutely needs this and you want it. Because there's a young girl probably in London that she's never met before that is like, it's her sole purpose in life and her family's sole purpose in life that she plays for Arsenal. Well, you said you want to play for Arsenal. So can you outwork her needs? By the way, what I'm saying doesn't always guarantee an outcome, a successful outcome. It just gives you the best opportunity to be there. I wasn't the best footballer. In my area, at my teams I was at, none. But the reason I had a 17-year career is I gave myself the best opportunity to be fit, available, and I was outwork you. And if you were better than me, at the end of the day, no problem. I lost 6-0 to Man City in the FA Cup final. So what? I got to play in the FA Cup final. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's not, does it guarantee outcomes? It just gives you the opportunity of being there. So you hear a lot of people now talk about processes and time and all of that. Well, the process starts for me is with kids now. I was a kid trying to just get picked. And that never left me. My brother was always better than me. Shit, I need to switch on and make sure that I'm better than me. Do you think my mum wanted me to be a footballer? Never. She just wanted me to be happy. So if football was happy, then it's cool. My dad just didn't want me to run around in the streets. So football makes you happy, then cool, we'll do that.
I need to interrupt the podcast one more time. Did you know that We Make Footballers is a franchise business? We began franchising in 2015 and we now have over 60 franchises in operation across the UK, Dubai and US, serving over 10,000 players. If you are a talented coach but don't want to start your own coaching business alone, visit franchisewmf.com to find out how We Make Footballers can help you operate a successful football coaching company. When you say there that you weren't the best player, maybe recognizing some of some weaknesses that you had, but
loads.
But when we say this, when that's not discounting.
Mate, I told you will never offend me. Just speak about it. It's fine. It's fine.
We're
Honestly.
definitely recognizing the career you've had, like unbelievable. But yeah, in terms of like how you could have been even better, what do you think you could have benefited from in your, as you were growing up that would have enhanced your career?
Yeah, there's three big things. So I'll always go, technically, I would have been a lot better if I'd have had, well, now the access more one-on-one coaching. Actually have coaching. The Sunday League team, we had Mickey and Pat Trainer, the two. They were lads, dads and granddads. Yeah. Like they weren't A licensed coaches or pro licensed coaches. They just told us the fundamentals and how to play football.
And just sticking on that with technical, what do you not think that you were happy with? I still can't use my left foot. So it's left side.
I can't use my left foot at all.
Okay.
But what I learned very quickly was I can't use my left foot, but I can use the outside of my right.
Yeah.
So practice using the outside. I figured out every single way to not use my left foot.
Yeah.
And again, it's being free thinking, right? I know it's going to be harder for me to retrain my brain down to kick this ball with my left leg, to clip it, to pass, whatever I need to do. But I've already got the outside of my right. So let's use that then. I used to watch like Darren Anderton. And again, who are you watching? And I say this to my daughter all the time. There's no point you watching Mbappe if you want to be a defender. I used to love watching people that were slow because I was never rapid. So I was never quickest in my school. I was like 4th or 5th. And I used to run like 800 and 1500 metres. They were kind of my runs. So I'd watch Teddy Sheringham, Darren Anderton, Matt Letizia. Random people that as kids you were like, why didn't you watch Andy Cole, Righty, blah, blah, blah. The more sexy names, shall we say. I used to just fixate on them. Chris Sutton. All right, well, how do they do it? And bear in mind, I never played as a striker until I was 19.
Yeah, I was aware of that. I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, I used to be a midfielder.
Didn't you start as a right back? Then
start as a kid. Yeah, as a kid I used to play right back because the only way I could get in the team. So I played right back. And then as like for the majority of my childhood career, I was a midfielder, yeah.
I mean, I still want to come back to
keep more on the other one.
No. But like just on this now, do you think that benefited you? Do you think you would have preferred to? It would have worked for you better if you'd always been a striker?
Depends what the outcome of success would have looked like. I probably would have been more selfish. I probably would have been in the likes of, and I can say it because my mate, but Jermaine Defoe, someone that was like goal orientated. If they played well, it meant they'd scored, as opposed to what I developed into was winning. Because I knew we got paid if we won. I knew if we stayed in the team, we had to win. People only change the team. Well, more different now, but when I started, you change the team if you lost. So it was all about team winning once I got in the team because I wanted to stay in the team. Because I got a 50 quid bonus if we were starting. Do you get what I mean? Like little, I just correlated it to money. So yeah, for technical, it'd be that. I'm trying to think what else. Just understanding the game, man. Like, it's a quick story. I went into Warsaw and I was a midfielder and they were like, I was 18 playing with the 18s. I was like a second year playing with the first years. And they were like, you're too big, man. Like I was 13 and a half stone at 18. They were like, you're too big to be a midfielder. Go up front.
Who said this to you?
Warsaw. The manager, the first team manager.
Right, yeah, okay.
So basically how it used to be, the first team trained there and it was the reserves. It wasn't like a 23s and an 80s. It was like League Two, so it was reserves. So it was the 18s and the fit non-selected all come together. So I'm training with these and he's like, you're not a midfielder. I couldn't ping the ball. I couldn't drill a ball. Everything I did was like a Aladdin slipper, like clicked and it just went and it had backspin by the time it got to him. And the one thing that I'll always give him credit for, Mickey Housel, he's like he was a coach there, and he's probably created about 150 careers of lads you'll know, like Scotty Dan and people like that. Excellent coach. But what he did, he tapped into me as a person. So he was like, you used to work. Oh, sorry, I just tapped that. You used to work. So he know. So when I got officially signed to Walsall on £120 a week, and I was like, I'd made it, he'd walk past me in the hall and go, you going home already? And he'd be like, 1:30. I'd be like, yeah. So, oh, okay. The old you wouldn't have done that. So he knows now I'm going to turn back round, go back in, get a new set of kit, and then I'll be back out on the Astro. He used to do random things for me as well. Like, he'd be like, oh, did you get the balls I asked you to get? And I'd be like, you didn't. You know when you're like, you didn't ask me to get a pack of balls. Yeah, I left them on the Astro for you. Did you go get them? Because he didn't want everyone to think I was a busybody, but he could see something in me that I'll go up there, there'd be like a bounce board, there'd be a goal out, and there'd be cones they'd already set out. He'd be like, oh, okay, I didn't have to ask him. That's for me. Go and practice. And then a lot of it as well was through humiliation, man. Get humiliated. I never lifted a weight before I went to Walsall, sorry. I'm at Walsall and everyone in there, League Two, so it's like, get as big as you can. They're all throwing houses around. I'm picking up fours and it's like one arm's going up, the other one's shaking. Everyone's laughing at you. It's not how it is now, and get together and help him. And it was laughed at me. I was like, okay, cool. By the language, you'll never fucking laugh at me again. Every day now, I'm going to lift weights until I learn how to do it. I couldn't do press-ups when I was in there. Right? Every day now, I'm going to learn how to do that until I could do it. And by 3, 4, 5 months later, I'm lifting the most in the gym. Like, who wants to play? Do you know what I mean? I'm in that kind of realm.
So,
sorry.
Walsall, age 19.
Yeah, 18 crossing over into 19, yeah.
That was your first experience in a professional environment. And so, you know, that manager, he was able to see your profile, see what your strengths were, and say, "Nah, this lad's no way a centre midfielder. Let's design him this way and make him a striker."
But you know, the beauty of that is they thought I was 18. Like, because I was playing adults football, open age football. So, like, everyone in my team was like mid-20s, some were like 35, and I'm playing against men, essentially. But I'm holding my own as a centre midfielder, not from just a running physical point of view, but I'm smashing people, I'm shoulder to shoulder, I'm defending corners, I'm doing all of it. So he was like, for 18, where have you been? But I've been playing men's football since I was 15. So by the time 3 years later, this was easy to me now. And when we used to do pre-season, again, old school pre-season, run around the pitches and run around the park or whatever, I was lapping people. And these were kids that were cooler than me, like in their area. And if you ask them, they'll all tell you I was lapping them. And they used to be like, fucking hell, Troy, slow down. But my mentality was, I have to be twice as good as you lot just to get in the team. So when I went to Walsall, it was like, I've got to be 4 times better than you lot. And I got to outwork you, can't be late, got to do all of these things. And there's a story I tell everyone. We went on loan to Hales Owen, which is a conference team. There was 4 of us that was all in the youth team. We were close to the first team. We'd be on the bench every now and again, but we was playing reserve matches, but we were probably too good for the reserves. You know, that weird space. And so they sent us there over Christmas. It was around the month of December. It was at Hales Owen, and I remember going in and playing, and we played Merthyr Tydfil away. I'll never forget it, Tuesday night. And we got back to the stadium at the Bescot for like 2:30, 3 a.m. And my mate's dad, who's just passed away, he drove us home, and we got home around about 4 o'clock. And I remember getting into bed at my mum's. I was like, oh, day off tomorrow, I'm going to sleep till 2 and I'm going to do nothing. Phone starts ringing at 8. Pick it up. It's Mick. You're training with the first team. Get in. Phone goes dead. Jump up, throw my trackie on, don't even brush my teeth, just fly out. Because I had to run from mine to the train station, which was about 2 miles, get on the train into there, run across the train and get there. So bear in mind, training's at 9. He's phoned me at 8. I got there at 8:57. So I'm like sweating, paddy. I mean, who am I training with? What's dressing room? He's like, oh, you came? So what do you mean? He's like, no one else is in. I just wanted to see if you'd come. I scored a hat-trick the night before against Merthyr Tydfil. But he'd called all 4 of us and I was the only one who turned up.
How do you think?
So you couldn't do that now. That'd be child abuse now. But, but it was a test. You know what I mean? To see, do you really want it? Sorry.
No. So how you went into Walsall? That's when they converted you from a midfielder into a centre forward. How did you sort of take that? Because a lot of people, or a lot of players, they've got their position. They think it's the strongest position, and they would fight against it, and they wouldn't like that decision. And then, if you, how did you take that? And then how do you think you might have taken that at 12 or 14 or 16? Because there's going to be players that coaches can see something in them. Yeah. But there's one player I'm thinking of in particular. This player can move the ball like I've not seen anything else. He's hell-bent on being like a wide attacking player. He just wants to dribble all the time.
But it looks obvious that he's a 6 or an 8. Yeah.
And you're trying to tell him this. Yeah. It's not going in.
I think as a kid, I think I was a little bit different. Because I was never set. This was never in my plans to do this. So I probably would have gone, oh yeah, no problem. And I've always been open-minded to learning. So I probably would have been easy. What I learned very, very quickly at 18 is I'd never been taught how to hold the ball up. So I started watching the pros. And again, if you got any of my old teammates from an 18-year-old kid up until, stopped in Jan at 36, I'm always asking questions. Not to trip people up, but like, I'd never seen anyone stretch before. Why are you doing that for? Because how I used to do it was pull up in the car, have a Red Bull, put some Tiger Balm on your chest and go and, do you know what I mean? You didn't need to stretch, you was 18. And now these guys are stretching, they're looking after the body. I'm like, why would you do that? Then I'm seeing the strikers. And again, in League Two, a lot of it was long ball into the front, protect it, play it out wide, now get into the box. So we had Tommy Mooney, again, had a great career. And I was like, right, what does he do? Watch him. Okay, he does that, but he's a lefty, so I'm probably going to have to do the same and do it on the right-hand side. And then he's the person, and again, still do it to this day, and I do it with my kids now. If I miss a target at a shooting drill, 2 press-ups if it went wide, 5 if it went over. Now, it sounds really immature, but when you do the shooting drill, if you miss a target 10 times, that's 50 press-ups. You start to feel that at the end of the session. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what you go is, well, I missed 10 this time. Right, next time I can't get more than that. So then it gets 8, then it gets 4. And before you know it, you hit the target more often. And what he was saying to me was, if you hit the target, it's on the keeper to make a save. But if the keeper has a bad day and misses it, you'll never know, will you? Because you've missed the target. And he used to say to me, you'll get 5 goals a season just hitting it at the goal and he'll mess it up. I just think, nah, that won't happen. Over the course of my career, it's happened quite a lot, believe it or not. So, just little things like that, just asking questions, learning, not being afraid to be called stupid or embarrassed, whatever.
How much do you think you making it as a footballer was down to your genetics?
None.
I was just about to ask, like...
You see me now, I'm a little fat kid.
But you're 6'3", 6'4"?
Nah, I'm 6 foot.
You're bigger than him.
I'm 6 foot.
Okay.
Everyone thinks I'm bigger, yeah. I'm just over 6 foot.
Okay.
Like, I just get into the 6 foot club by about 3 centimetres.
Do you think it's everything you're saying, your mentality is just like something else?
And everyone thinks you're being like big-headed when you say that, but I can tell you, I wasn't the fastest, wasn't the strongest, I wasn't technically the best, but mentally I was like, well, you could do that better than me. I'm going to figure out how to do it.
Where does that mentality come from? Because
not having.
But did your brother have a similar upbringing to you?
Yeah, but
So
he
what was
had
his
that.
mentality
He's genetically a freak. Like we laugh about it the other day when we go to mum's. As you see, I'm drinking green tea, right? Because I could put weight on looking at food. He has a cup of tea or a coffee with 4 sugars. He's had it since I can remember. 6-pack V joke. I train every single day, and I'm getting fatter every time I do it. It's just one of those things. He could just do it. But sorry to interrupt. My mum said today, we was talking to my mum on the way over, and we was talking about something else, and she was like, yeah, but when you put your mind to it, there's nothing that stops you. And I was like, it was about some business stuff. She was like, when you put your mind to it, you'll figure it out. She said, you always have. And that's what it is. So when it comes to genetics, I believe that it could get you the elite. We were talking about Paul Pogba and somebody I was doing earlier. Paul Pogba's 6'3", 6'4", glides, left foot, right foot, strong. that's a genetic freak. Do you know what I mean? That is somebody that can get to that world level of winning World Cups. I can't do that, but I'm quite comfortable because I think with social media now, unless you're like a world beater, everyone just says you're crap. But if you look at James Milner's 17 games away from breaking the all-time record for most appearances in the Premier League. Would anyone ask their kid to be like James Milner?
Yeah, I would love to have a kid like
No, but I'm on about general public. Sorry,
right, okay,
general public. Would they be going, watch James Milner and how he plays? Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. But there's different ways to create, and I think my one message to all parents is there's different ways to get to the end result. It is not a simple journey of do A, B, C, D, and you'll get to Z. Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that at all. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I don't believe genetics play the trick.
How to bottle your mentality.
Well, I want to.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it with my kids. Go on.
Do you think that the academy route didn't help your little brother?
No, it did to a point. So let's say played football with him Monday, and he's still a joke. And I'm just like, how did you never have a career? But I just think from a mentality point of view, it was nice. It was a nice place. Now, don't get me wrong. He did his knee and broke his ankle. Came back both times and ended up being captain of his team to FA Youth Cup final. I think he got to. But my brother has to be. If you tell him to do something, he'll do it. With me, I know I've got to do something, so I'm going to do it. Does that make sense? Like, he'll go training's 9 till 2. Let's say he's going to be there at 8. He'll start training at 8:30. He'll be ready, but at 2 he's done because that's the time frame. Me, I got to be there from 9 till 2. Realistically, I'm probably going to get there at like 8:45. I'll prep and I'll be ready and I'll train, but I'm not leaving till 5, 6, and that's every day. And then when it's a day off, the quote unquote day off, even now it's more recovery based, but back in my day it was like day off on a Wednesday. Right, this is a chance to catch up on all those years I missed. So I'm going to play football. I'm going to train with my trainer, and I'll do some runs. And I just use those bits as, like I said, not having. So I was always like, in my head, someone's got to pull this away from you and give it to somebody else.
So if you went into an academy at 8 years old...
Yeah, I wouldn't be here today.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't think you'd have had the mentality?
I'd have went soft. Because bear in mind... I can only talk from Aston Villa. Like, my brother used to get beans on toast and a yazoo after every training session. Now, to most people, that's like, what? To us, beans on toast was a luxury, and a yazoo we only got if we ever saw my nan or my auntie. He was getting that 3 times a week. So my thing when we used to go watch him was nick us a yazoo so we can have it on the way home. Again, probably would have got him in trouble if he ever got caught, but a few times he'd come out with a couple of yazoos and go, there you go, sweet. But that was the way we grew up. It was to me, that was a luxury. To him, it became normal. That was just training.
But then you are comfortable sending your children into academies now.
Mm-hmm. Because of what they're getting at home. They've got 2 parents at home. They've got grandparents. I didn't have. Mum was at work. Dad was in jail. I'm coming home to real life. I've got to make sure Ellis is ready for football. I've got to make sure my sister's ready to go for football. I've got to cook for Ellis. I've got to make sure we're doing our homework. As soon as we hear Mum's car come round the corner into the cul-de-sac, right, out, go. Have you been to the toilet? I'm doing this from 9, 10 years old. And
you're probably very aware of their mentality as well.
Yeah.
You're warning them, as you mentioned earlier, of the kids that they're competing against, that need it, that are off the estates, that are hungry, and then you're finding ways to create. So I'm putting words in your mouth, but you're creating these challenges for your children. Yeah,
absolutely.
So even though they're in a good environment,
and my kids know everything costs money.
I was going to say, have you got
everything?
Like specific examples that?
Specific example is my daughter's going to go and play a game. Going to go to a tournament in Sweden in the summer, some big kids tournament.
Oh, Gothia.
Yeah, she's going to that in the summer. I don't know. Let's say the price on that is £1,000. I don't know what it is, but let's say it's £1,000. Oh, why do you get to go? That's literally my question. Why do you get to go? Oh, because I want to. No, that's not. We don't work like. Why do you get to go? Because you got to understand now. You going to Gothia is not just you going. That's me, your mum, your little brother's got to go. So there's 4 people I'm paying for. What do you give back to make sure that it's worth our time to go? This isn't a monetary thing like clean the car or anything. Do you got all the right grades at school? Do I have to take to clean your room? Do I have to take to bring your washing down? Do I have to take to have intensity at football? There are 4 things that you can control, right? Yeah, yes, Dad. Okay, do that then and we'll go. And if you prove you can do it, we'll go.
And what about the little 4-year-old boy that you got?
The little Tasmanian devil, man. He's a problem.
Because I see the video that went viral.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like I see that, and he looks like he's got a clean strike. And with Chelsea, like I'm a pre-academy scout. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, we take in players from under 8.
Oh, okay.
And it's just my focus. I just work with like the 5-year-old, 6-year-old. Some people from the outside can think, oh, that's extreme. They're starting too young. But you know, you can see a kid's got passion for the game. You can see if they're striking a ball, and you know, you can see some early ability.
Natural,
but he looks good.
He's never had a coaching session. He just loves kicking a ball, man. Loves kicking the ball, loves throwing the ball. And at the moment, it was trying to stop him from fighting like me, the dogs, and anyone else. He just loves fighting. So he's gonna. If I'm being totally honest, he's gonna be the problem because that's my soft spot. He's the only one I can't tell off because he understands how to make me laugh. Like he's so funny. So like I'll tell him off and he'll sulk, and then he'll just do something quickly that makes me laugh. And then it's like, oh, whatever. But the other 3, I'm like, disciplinarian, like, bang, this is how it's got to be and do this. Him, I don't know, man. I don't know, maybe it's because I've retired now and I can start to enjoy the growth. But I know once he starts doing something, then I'll be on him. But yeah, as you said, that I think my missus posted that video. He just went down to the park and he said, I'm going to hit the crossbar. I was like, go on then. And he just did it. He just pinged it. I was like, oh, okay then, yeah. But he loves football though.
So seeing that he loves football, how soon do you think you'll start taking it seriously? As in you'll start taking his journey seriously?
I don't think I'll take it seriously as in like this is everything. He's about 10. Have some fun. Go and play. Go lose. Go get scratches. Like.
Will you let him sign for an academy at under 9, under 8?
Nah, probably not. Probably not.
I mean, you say that, but
yeah, probably not. Probably not. Like, listen, like it's hard to explain. Like you'll get, and you've been around, so you'll know. JT's kids.
Yeah.
There would have been people at Chelsea go, just get John Terry's son in because genetically he might have something. There's like a 20% chance. So, you know, with my kids, when they play football, it's like people that I know at clubs are like, bring them in. I'm like, nah, it's cool. They're kids. Listen, do I think there's pros and cons through it? Yeah, absolutely. Like we just spoke about. If they got in early, technically they'll be great, this, that, and the other. But they'll get a level of entitlement very quickly. Very, very quickly.
How do you think you might be though if your son was growing up how you were growing up?
Probably the same.
So if you're...
Because my job as a parent isn't to let him pay for me or her pay for me. My job as a parent is to provide for them because that's why I had a child. Even though, like when I had my oldest son, I wasn't ready for that. I was 21. I wasn't ready for a kid, but mentality change, right? You brought this person into the world, fix it. Make sure that they don't want Freddie, but you made that adjustment, have accountability on what they expect and what they see. I think when, again... It's easy, isn't it, I suppose, to talk from hindsight, but I didn't see my mum go, do you know what? I hope one of these kids become a professional because then life will be easy. No, she chose to have these kids. She was going to work 3 jobs over Christmas. Life wasn't difficult. It was difficult. It wasn't easy, sorry, but we had fun. We was talking about it today. We had fun. I don't remember a large part of my life being hard. There was a point when it got hard and it became real, but from 9 all the way down, playing out, go to my nan's. I knew if I go to my nan's on a Thursday, she had shopping, so I got a Kit Kat. Do you know what I mean? Like little things like that. Now, like I said, my kids are spoiled. My 4-year-old's asking for peppers and hummus for school. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like you have to just take it for what it is. But I do think there's an element of creative thinking, and there's an element of kids being so naive that they dream bigger than we can ever think of. And when early as you get older and life battles you down, or jobs or bills, your creative thinking shrinks, doesn't it? And you start going safe.
So your son,
Yeah.
Is he reception at school or nursery?
No, just started reception. So he'll be 5 in December.
Got you.
So I think this is something that we need to kind of tackle as well. Like, kids can't get into any clubs, it's a struggle. So we do like little kickers and stuff now, but it's hard to get kids at 4 and 5, I think, for insurance reasons, isn't it, to get them in?
You've got to bring him to My We Met Footballers company.
No, there you go. We'll chat. Yeah, but it's like, but in general though, it's a struggle, isn't it, to get kids?
Yeah, you
doing
can't
stuff.
get him into a team at this point. So you'll find a commercial coaching place, and a place like ours is going to be indoor facility. It's going to be all the, whoa, he's
God, talk it, bro. Talk it.
Yeah, it's going to be like 1v1s and 2v2s.
Yeah,
and then loads of touches of the ball. So then that's going to get them.
The engagement.
Well, it's going to get them started, and it's going to get them understanding.
Yeah, he don't play well with others at the moment. That's what we're learning. Yeah, he's
but
spoiled.
that year goes fast where they're in reception, because the academies, they start taking them in development centres from year 1.
Yeah, I find that mental.
But I know you might, because it's not your experience.
Yeah.
But
I'm not trying to shit on what you're doing by any stretch. I just think I just don't know how a 6-year-old go getting a football kit and a bag, and
they don't get that.
Okay.
Oh, actually, Arsenal do that.
Okay.
Yeah, no. But let's say Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, because you're around that way. You're North London?
No, you got me wrong. I'm Birmingham, bro. I've never left.
Right.
I've never left. Yeah. That's told you. I don't come out unless I'm doing something. Like I said to you before, you guys are good. That's what otherwise I wouldn't fucking do. I'd be home chilling now, having a cup of tea. I don't come out otherwise. Sorry.
All right, well, Birmingham, they've got so many good academies up there. So
Birmingham, Villa, Leicester, Wolves,
exactly.
Cov.
So they're going to have the same thing they've got in London.
Yeah.
So they're going to have development centres, going to start from year 1, and then there'll be scouts in the area that are going to invite them in.
Can I be totally honest as well?
Yeah, go for it.
It's going to sound really nasty. I can spot a bullshitter a mile off. So I hate watching these coaches at younger ages bullshitting that they know what they're on about. And that's why I would probably keep the kids away until a certain age. Because I'm starting to notice now, I don't know whether you noticed the trend. A lot of the coaches now are doing it for their benefit. So they want to move up through, say Tottenham, for example, from the 10s. Their idea is, if I can get to the 16s, that's a close enough version to the first team, and they want to kind of move up with their team. Where, like, as you know, and you both know, the passion for foot. If you want to be a coach, there's not a lot of money in coaching. It's passion for developing that child or that team, and you've got to give more hours and more time, and it constantly on your mind for minimal money, even at the pro level, by the way. So when I go and see a lot of these things now, I just think, you're a bullshitter, man. You're just bullshitting, and you're doing it for you. You're not doing it for them.
Where are you seeing those type of coaches?
At the younger ages, I find.
Is this for your daughter's stuff, or is this the
little kickers is like, you've got to be a certain type. I love my kids, but I can't fucking have 20 of them running around. You've got to have a certain mentality. Yeah. I just think that but a lot of people I see within the academies, obviously coming through at Watford, and when I was at Blues, and especially when I was at Forest Green, you just start seeing that people are looking at their end goal as opposed to the kids' end goal. Do you get what I mean? And that's where I struggle. I struggle with it. By the way, that's probably not fair, because I'm talking on my experiences versus a whole generation of coaches.
I think I've been vocal on it before. I think there's a trend of young coaches almost becoming Instagram coaches.
Oh,
and they kind of want the fame for
how many do you see online now trying to break down tactical stuff? And if you want to play a 4-3-3, 4-4-2, you got to do it this way. It's like, okay, well, one thing, if we did it against mannequins, I'd look like Pep Guardiola. What about the intangible of the other person over there? Just might think differently, and he might jump the press out of nowhere. Now what? What about the emotional state of the crowd? What about the emotional state of, you don't know what that young person's been doing at school? Might have got told off. Might have had a bad day at school. Are they thinking clearly? And everything you see online now is about like this frigging Man City style of football with these unprecedented amount of like chefs and nutritionists and that. Well, the reality is most kids play on football pitches where the ball's bouncing all over the gaff. So why are we telling them to play 1 and 2 touch? Sometimes they might have to take 3 touch. Sometimes we're better off just doing some technical stuff, some ball mastery stuff, so they can get the ball under control. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's a lot. Like I say, there's a lot of bullshit, man. Sorry for interrupting.
No. And yeah, I'm trying to understand like where you've seen that, because there is a perception. I read a lot of comments that come through, and I can see what some parents think, or the football people think.
But that's why I watched your stuff. Because I used to, like, I'm not on Insta no more, but when I used to be on Insta, obviously it'd pop up and different things would pop up, and I would go, okay, let me listen. Oh yeah, you lot are talking sense. Like I tell you, you're not bullshitting, you're living it, you're talking lived experiences. A lot of people haven't been in it. Mm-hmm. And also, I don't want to go into like specific people, but when I hear, because I don't know their names, I don't want to be disrespectful, but when I see a lot of their stuff, I see a lot of like bitterness. I didn't make it in the game. Oh. So I'm going to show the kids, this is what I know.
Oh, right.
Do you get what I mean? Like in their delivery, not what they say, but in the delivery of it. And, you know, when I used to play, it was like this. It's like, it's not about you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'd never go to my kids, this game I played against Man United, this is what happened. Like, who gives a shit? Like, do you know what I mean? You're done. Put it away. You put it away. Even when, again, it didn't work out great at Forest Green, but if you ask any of the players, and a lot of the players I still talk to, like, whenever we delivered information, it wasn't, I used to play with, I'm trying to think, I used to play with Etienne Capoue, French international, and in midfield, he used to do this. Well, why am I going to talk to somebody that's in League Two? Instantly, in their head, they're going, well, that's not relatable. So now we got to simplify it. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Like, with the coaches that I work with, and it's often talked about to be very, very self-aware that you might have been semi-pro, but that's not good.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to develop a player that's going on to play pro, they've got no ceiling, like, potentially. Yeah. So if you're putting in your ideas that are almost like semi-pro mentality, you're actually going to make that kid worse.
Yeah, I think it works both ways, right? So I hate. And this, let's keep it real simple. Let's say we was going to talk about, we're talking about bills in the house, and you go, I'm just complaining about the electric bill, for example. How many people go to me, I've got that, but it's not on your level. What do you mean it's not on your level? It's a bill for you, right? That costs you a certain amount of money that, depending on how much you spend, hampers you or whatever. It's the same for me. So if you played at semi-pro, you know what it's like to get to a level. You know a level of professionalism that's better than a Sunday League person. Just because I played in the Prem doesn't mean I know more than you. Just I've been exposed to more experiences than you. So what I would say today is if you are a semi-pro and you're a coach, yes, show them these bits. But be so self-aware about to what you said as to what stopped you. Most of these people will go, I played at this level and it was this. Well, what stopped you going to that? Because you're not worse than Troy Deeney. I'll tell you that for a fact. But there was something between me and you that was different. We spoke about earlier. My mentality was, I want to do more. I'm just going to do more. If I made it to non-league, in my head, that was me playing the Champions League. Because I was playing in Midland Com Division 2, which is 17 steps away from the Premier League.
What age was that?
18, when I got found. 17 steps away from the Premier League. Fast forward 5 years, 6 years, I'm walking out against Everton, captain of Watford in the Prem. Now, is that because of my coaching ability? No. It's in my coachability. I was able to listen to any and everyone. Some people told me stuff, and 90% of it was bullshit. But there was a couple of things in there, that makes sense. I'll take that. And I'll formulate into what works for Troy. Most people now want to go, well, Kevin De Bruyne does this. All right, well, I can't fucking do what Kevin does. So, do you get what I mean? So you just, I'm kind of like agreeing with your point and disagreeing with your point. But I think at the same time, it's like all of it is about how do you formulate what works best for your your child or your player or whatever it is. Where I get frustrated is, especially now in today's game, coaches go, we're going to play 4-3-3, we're going to play it from the back. What if boy or girl can't do that? Can you not be a coach and coach people to do something different? Because in 5 years' time, I don't know, someone comes along that's the new Pep and he's playing 3-5-2. Guess what? All of a sudden, everyone's going to start playing 3-5-2. But you've already taught these kids how to play 4 at the back. Do you know what I mean? Sorry.
No. When
I go on rants.
No, it's so good. It's so good hearing from you. I think that I have conversations with parents, and if they're asking me, oh, should I send my child into an academy? Should I put them into it? The stats are all saying that majority of footballers now that are going to the Premier League or international, they're starting in their academies from 7 years old, 8 years old. And
it doesn't balance out the kids that don't make it, though. That's the only thing I have with stats, because you can make a stat suit your narrative. So a lot of the kids that play for England, yes, they all started at an academy. But in that team of 11 or 15, only one did. Where did the other 14 go? That'd be more of a stat I'd be interested in. Because I try and look at things as a whole. Do you get what I mean? If I'm creating a Mason Mount, but everybody else is now working or is at the job centre, I'd be going, well, does that one outweigh that I've let these 10 people down?
But what?
Do you get what I mean?
I do. But let's say you're going to take what's your boy's name?
The youngest one, Clay.
Clay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say
just popped up on my screen.
So let's.
Look, that's too cute to play football, man. Sorry.
Cool. So let's say Clay, he is best in his school. You can see he's a baller. The scouts all start saying, bring in Villa, bring in West Brom, whatever. And then all the other best kids are going there. And football is not played in the parks anymore. It's not in the cages. So you want to get him playing against those other ones. So the only way to get him competing against the best is to bring him to those places. And you might be surprised. You might go there and you might say, you know what, these actually guys, they're good child developers.
Yes.
And there's a big trend with the way that they coach is they don't actually do too much coaching.
Okay.
There's a lot of trying to recreate street football. I actually think that we're missing out on some decision-making work and intelligence that can be developed. But
especially at a younger age. Because I'm with you. I know you're going.
But it's very much facilitating. And then let's say your boy is then doing 3 or 4 times a week, or at least 3 times.
Yeah, the amount of time and hours
it goes through the process,
Yeah.
and then you then put him into a Sunday team once he gets to under 7, so he's in a grassroots team, probably a good one, with other academy kids. And then Villa starts saying, oh, come and play this game for us.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, all right, we can play that game.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a point where
I totally
they want
hear
to
all your
offer.
point. Yeah, go on.
But you're going to say, no, I don't want to put him into academy football. I'm going to put him out. So then all his mates end up signing for the academies. All the best kids do sign. And then grassroots, it has had under 7s, under 8s, academy kids playing in it. But then when it goes into under 9s, they're ripped out.
Yeah.
And then you're then left with
a lesser product. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I get
you've
that.
still got to try and find a way for your kids
of course,
to be the best player.
I think it just goes back to like how you are as a parent, right? So I'm not in a situation where I want to have just because he's good he gets it, and just because he's playing in this and I want him to test himself. Okay, well there's loads of ways to test yourself. If you're so good, make everybody else in your Sunday league look stupid. Let it that anybody who comes and watches from the opposition team goes, who is that? And we could do a year of that. Because I tell you what, when your friends go over there, and this is a big thing for parents as well, if your friends go over there and they're playing and they start getting clicky, well, all kids do from 9, 10, 11, 12, to start forming friendships. Well, what if they turn around at 11 and don't like you, but you went there because of them? Now the kid goes, I want to leave Villa, I want to go to Blues. Well, we're just going to pick it up and go over there because you said that. Life's not fair. Life's not a plain sailing. Like, it'd be fucking lovely if it was, by the way. We'd all be multi-millionaires and just watch Instagram and we'd all figure out life. It's about, in my opinion, it's about making my kids as self-assured and as self-confident that it doesn't matter if they're picked up at 9 or picked up at 24. you are going to be the best version of yourself. And wherever that ends up, you'll be happy. So again, maybe I'm sound a little bit old school. Maybe I sound a bit freaking dated or a nasty person, but I just think the chances of my kids going and playing in the Premier League or in the WSL are very slim anyway. But what the chances of them being a really good human, being nice, having values and morals, that I can control. And if you end up being a sick footballer at the end of it, or my son be a chef, or my other daughter who's acting, do that. Cool. But one thing you'll never hear is that my kid was rude. You'll never hear that. You'll never hear that my kid was an arsehole.
I'm just going to interrupt the podcast for 30 seconds to tell you about We Make Footballers. We Make Footballers are the largest football coaching provider to children aged 4 to 12 in the UK, operating across 200 facilities. We focus on developing the individual, working on the technical and physical components of the game, and it's had amazing results, with hundreds of our ex-players joining professional academies and 4 of our ex-players currently playing in the Premier League. Our program is built around small-sided play using indoor and outdoor facilities. Visit our website, WeMakeFootballers.com, to see if we have a training facility in your area.
And talking of our kid, that's my little big brother just calling me there. But yeah, just in that situation, I don't think we've got enough time. But let me ask him what he was like at Villa. Yeah. Sorry, this is not normal for podcasts. Yes, bro.
I like it.
Yeah,
you're. I'm just doing a podcast, yeah, called Project Footballer. Right, and it's called Project Footballers. So we'll talk about young kids and academies. So obviously you spent all that time at Villa. What do you think was the biggest positive and versus the biggest negative? And by the way, you're on a podcast, so don't swear, please.
biggest positive.
What was the biggest positive of you being in that academy from 6 to 20?
Probably the level of training that you get, the knowledge that you get. Level of training, it's second to none. It.
Okay, and then what was the negative that you would say was from it?
Biggest negative?
Yeah.
Probably it's a way up between the two. You're not supposed to really play football with your friends, so that's probably the biggest. It takes a lot of fun out of the game. Mm-hmm. And then the pressure that comes with it.
All right, cool. Right, I've got about 5 minutes here, then I'm going to call you when I get in the car, right, bro?
Go on then.
Love. Catch you in a bit. Bye-bye.
In a bit.
There you go.
It's like we planned that.
he just finished
cool.
Sorry, but yeah. There you go.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've been talking and the time's flown by. Yeah, and they've given us the shout. We've never had that before.
Yeah, I could talk for England.
No, it's so good. It's so good. Well, the last question I wanted to ask, and thank you so much for your time today. Yes, I think the parents
hope people
are gonna absolutely
learn.
love it.
It's not
100%.
Yeah, it's not by any stretch of imagination I've got it cracked. It's just how I think and I believe, isn't it? And we'll see the journey in 10 years and go, oh, he didn't know what he was talking about.
No, I think you've been able to separate what happened so well, and you're able to analyse it and then reflect back. And so all your observations, I think they're going to be so helpful for the parents listening. 100%.
I hope so. If we can help one, we've done all right. But sorry, go on, ask your last question.
Yeah, so my last question would be, what would you say is the biggest lesson that you would take from your career that you'd want to pass on to your children?
It's a great question. But there's 3 ways. There's 3 answers, but they all mean the same thing. So first, purely from a footballing point of view, enjoy it. One thing I'm desperate for now is like one more game, because you get so. I'm literally going to play with my brother next week, just to play and have some fun. He said to talk about enjoyment. You get so wrapped up in got to win. And one thing about the professional game is your teammates are your first competition. So Monday to Friday, while we're all mates and haha, this is fun, it's like us 3 strikers, you're the first, I'm the first, you're the second, you're the third. You want his job, you want my job, I want to keep both of you away. So while it's laughing and joking, I'm keeping you at arm's distance, and we never really create any friendship. And you never know when it's over. So you get so wrapped up into it that it's like, gotta do it. And you'd hear all the big boys talk about how they never really enjoyed the winning because the losses hurt more. So when you lose, it's like, right, gotta get back to work and fix that you don't enjoy it as much. That would be the first thing. Secondly, from a purely monetary point of view, it would be a case of like chill, because I thought I earned a good living, like a very good living, and you get into this. I'm gonna fix every problem, and I hadn't fixed myself. So all I was doing and what I ended up doing was just throwing money at situations. Because I know I haven't seen you in. Let's say you're my auntie. Let's say I haven't seen you in a month, and I used to see you every week. And now I come round and it's like, oh, how are you? And I don't really want to be there, but here's $1,000. I'll just have a cup of tea, but here's $1,000 and I'll see you later. And then what happens the next time we come round? Well, they think there's another $1,000. That hasn't happened, but like with my auntie, because my auntie's lovely, but it's just, that was a thing. And any situation I had, I just threw money at it. Just like, leave me alone, but I've got to work. But because I'm not around, let me buy you something, because that'll show you that I love you, even though all anyone wanted was time. And then the final thing would be is, while enjoying it, it would be keep the hunger. Like, I'm 36, and like, I'm going to sound a little bit nasty. I know we've got a minute or so left. I can still play now. I can still play to a good level. But the hunger for dealing with the nonsense outweighs going and doing it. Does that make any sense? I know there's people probably listening to this going, oh my God, what we'd kill for that. And I'm with you. I'm fortunate. I played 700 games. I'm in a position where I'm like, I've got arthritis in both ankles, a hole in my right knee. I need 2 hip operations. My left shoulder doesn't work. I can't even touch my shoulder. Look, so everything hurts, but the desire to keep doing it was that I got to play on a Saturday and win. As I got a little bit older, that desire to play on a Saturday and win was still there, but now I'm older and wiser and I know how you should treat people. And if you think you're coming into this game for it to be nice, it's not nice. It is cutthroat, it is nasty, it's backhanded. But if you get it, and I'm going to caveat this, if you get it and you score 1 goal or play 1 game, it's worth all of it. And that's how you end a freaking podcast.
Love that. We'll leave it there. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, guys.